So we're going to start with our Inside Star Citizen live breakdown. So let's put that in theater mode, and here we go. Let's play. Looks like we're going to have a little episode about clouds, so why not? Let's hope that it's also going to be about cloud cities.
It gets a little bit flat and boring, and maybe that's what it's like in real life, but we want to make a really, really cool experience here, and I think we can make it look a lot nicer through space here.
Okay, all right. I already disagree. I heavily disagree with what they are doing here. Sometimes the rule of cool, in my opinion, is maybe not the best one. It's great to have some cool looking areas, I totally get it, but at the same time, in order to keep a certain level of immersion and believability, you need to also make it feel a little bit realistic. And we all that in real life, those gas clouds like these don't exist in space, and if they ever do, they are extremely dangerous because they are very extremely hot, and it probably wouldn't be a good idea to fly any starships in that. And the fact that Chris Roberts has always liked to have these kind of gas clouds and asterofields in this game. I'm thinking of Freelancer, for example. We had a lot of those. We're getting those back in Star Citizen. As much as I loved Freelancer, this is not something that I am very keen on. I just hope, sure, they look very nice they look very nice like this, but I just hope that they are not going to be everywhere around the verse. That is just my my point of view. Hey, Ubo Sabat, how are you doing?
So this is a child gas cloud. This one spawns with some asteroids, and this is basically...
Oh, a child gas button. This looks like Crew L5, because that's the station that we have around Crew L5. Very interesting. Very interesting. Is this? We know that the CIG wants to have those gas clouds where some of the Lagrange points are located, which makes sense because those Lagrange points are gravity wells that naturally occur in various star systems at some points where there is some interaction between planets and their sun. So that's going to be that makes sense that those gas clouds get stuck there with asteroids, and they've also placed those rest stop because they don't need to reposition, they just stay there. It makes sense. Macho Alright is also here too. Good morning, Macho Alright. So for those of you who are catching this on YouTube, I'm also doing this live on YouTube as well, so this is part of the live stream, so I like to communicate with the community at the same time.
One of the ways we're going to add depth to different locations in Stanton. The way these are created are through a process in Houdini that I've been using, and basically I can just try and make a simulation, play around with it, try and see what looks nice, and then I'll try and bring it into Engine. Once it's an engine, then I can start lighting the sky up and creating some interesting areas all around.
Okay, I'm still doubling down on what I said. I don't like gas clouds in space. I don't like asteroid fields, but gotta give credit here to CIG when credit is due. This is looking quite fantastic, and it's interesting because this is not the first time that they're showing us those gas cloud texts. I think it's like the third time we see that in ISC, if I am correct, and every time they keep on showing those, and it keeps on looking better and better. I gotta say that especially with that lighting here, it's really looking fantastic. But at the same time, what I really want to know is, when is this coming up? Because this is the Star Citizen Alpha 3.11 season of ISC. We haven't seen much from Alpha 3.11 except for the cargo decks. Yeah, we've seen a lot of cargo decks, and we've seen the Crusader Mercury. Yeah, but that's pretty much it, right? That's pretty much it. Would I use this tech for Crusader Moon? I'm not sure any of the Crusader Moons need that, but if you are referring to the Crusader Gas Giant Macho, they're not going to use this tech for the Gas Giant. They've already said that multiple times in many episodes, unfortunately. These are two different separate techs, but probably... I would guess that maybe they could use some elements in those texts, because gas giants do have clouds like this, so that would make sense.
The reasons why there are some dark areas and some lighter areas of this gas cloud is because it's gas particles, right? So the hotter or maybe more intense gas will light up a little bit more, and the darker gas will just pretty much give some shadows and occlusion around here.
Very interesting, especially for all of the gas miners are there. Especially, I think that the maybe if you own a Starfarer, this could be a good tip here because the Starfarer will have in-house refineries. They'll be harvesting gas, have refineries, and then transform those gas into fuel. So maybe this could be an indication that if, like, if you want to have some maybe more valuable gas in those clouds, maybe you're gonna have to go for the light parts. That could be that could be a possibility, maybe. Machora says, "Yes, I need a gas giant, not the Crusader Moons. Need more coffee. I'm gonna get some coffee with you, Macho. Can't get enough of coffee, eh?"
So the red stuff that you can probably see along the outskirts here, it's the new space dust, and it's pretty much being lit up by a light leak color that comes
Space dust? What are we talking about?
from the properties of the gas cloud. And so the sun will pierce light through the cloud, and then it'll tint it a specific color. So that's what it's doing to the particles
Do you see
right
that
now
here?
as we're moving towards it. But we can see it a little bit more obviously if we zoom into an asteroid here. It has this little bit of a red tint on it because the gas cloud starts as generally a bluish color, light bluish, but it has a light leak color that is orange. And so when the light pierces through it, it gets more and more of that tint added onto the objects around it.
Okay, that's really, and you see that's one of the things that I've always been talking about, especially when we're going to talk about other space games later, further down the line in this live stream. But this is, yeah, it's a tech demo. It's not a complete game. We got that, but at the same time, it is all of those extra details that make this project stand out from anything else that is available, and this is why Star Citizen stands out to me because, yeah, we're going to talk about X4 later. We're going to talk about Star Wars Squadrons. We've seen space combat and explosions and laser all over the place, but all of that detail and fidelity, without considering the fact that these are actually space clouds that should not exist in real life, but still all of that attention to detail is, in my opinion, one of the reasons why I am so fond of this project.
So this is one of the gas cloud childs that we have right now.
Wait, gas child
If there's a
childs?
child, there must always be a parent. So if we zoom out, and we'll speed up a lot here,
Huh?
this is its parent. And this guy is quite massive.
Wait, what is this nebula? This nebula is as big as the entire Stanza system, or what?
So it has several children within it. So I know where a second one is here.
Okay.
So here's another child on the opposite side of the cloud. It's a very similar scale to the one we were just at.
And it's already
And it gives you
huge. Look at
a very
that.
similar amount of depth and feel, but it's lit in a completely different way. Maybe it looks a little bit more aggressive, and
No, Christian. So Christian is asking, did you say nebulae should not exist in space? I didn't say that nebulae should not exist in space. They do exist in space, but nebulae are actually much bigger than this. I know a thing or two about astronomy. Nebulae are much bigger than this. They spread out across several light years. And when you are inside a nebula, it doesn't feel like you are in an actual cloud. It's actually an optical illusion that we see from Earth. It looks like a cloud because these nebulae are so far away that from our perspective on Earth they look like cloud, but in reality that is not how they are going to look like. And I think that in that sense, Elite Dangerous is perfectly representing what a nebula looks like, because when you are in a nebula in Elite Dangerous, yeah, you're sure the space is a little bit more colored, but it's not an actual gas with mist and fog, that blocks your vision. It's not like that at all.
it gives off a cool feel like that. So with play spaces, generally you'll spend most of your time in these child VDBs, and then you'll do your quantum travel.
Yes, Ted, we are online, and thank you for saying that. Yes, I know a thing or two about space. I'm kind of a space geek, so that's always glad to talk about that. Yeah.
Or even flying at SEM speeds from one to another. But something like this would be a quantum travel.
But it looks so magnificent. That's from the artistic point of view. It definitely is stunning. It's just
and so I really want.
I know personally that it's not realistic, and that's not how it is in real life.
And see if quantum traveling through this really nice, maybe angelic, bright area would be an interesting feat. So throughout this, I've been moving very, very fast, probably faster than what you can quantum travel at. So it is generally really hard to tell what scale we're at right now. But if I go down to this guy, this little child here, and you can see your asteroids, you can see the whole thing. But maybe what we can do is turn on some planets for scale.
Okay, so we're gonna see the scale
right
here and
here,
how big it is. So what is this here?
This is a sphere, the scale of yellow.
Okay.
So it's really
already quite big.
It's very close to the scale of a moon here. This child itself, but we can scale up a little bit. Here's the size of Hurston, slightly bigger, not too bad. And here's the size of Crusader, and we have that compared to.
Okay,
parent.
let's have a look at the parent.
Is even larger than that.
Okay, so the parent cloud is about the size of 3 Crusaders, at least from one end to another. That makes sense. It's kind of all right. I think that's okay. Hey, Jack Exton. By the way, guys, go check out Jack Exton, one of the senior traders of Star Citizen. He makes some really decent video. Jack, please tell me, when is your next state of trade? You need to talk about the surge of demand for Beryl. People are trading Beryl, including Segalian, who is trying to do that. You need to talk about it, Jack. You need to talk about it. Ted says, I grew on astronomy as a kid. Star Wars came out when I was 7, and I wanted more, but instead of finding science fiction, the librarian led me to the astronomy non-fiction, which is also great. But you see, the great thing, Ted, as we are moving on, as you probably must have grown in the 70s. As we are moving on, you must have seen all those discoveries. When the Russians went to Venus, and we've discovered more and more on Mars, and as we are moving on, the older we get, the better it gets as well. So that's why real life astronomy is cool. But at the same time, the more we know, the more critical we get when we get into fiction like this, like Star Citizen, and we're like, yeah, but that's not really how a nebula is like, So it kind of, that's the rule of cool. It looks magnificent, but at the same time, since we know that this is not how it really is, there's kind of I don't know how you guys feel, but the way I feel is that it's kind of a blocker to me, right?
So I think there's a lot of space that we can use around here to add extra little depths, little children, even though that sounds funny to say, little child gas clouds all around the parent here, and it can hold them as a home.
All right, well, that's interesting. That was an interesting little take here on gas clouds. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments down section. Is this something you are looking forward to? I want to hear Jared. I want to hear if Jared tells us when this is coming, because I haven't heard when this is coming. So let's see what he says.
As work continues adapting the gas cloud tech created for Squadron 42 to use throughout Stanton and beyond.
Wait, Squadron 42. Oh boy. They are going to use that to say, hey, we communicated on Squadron 42. No, this is no, Jared. Jared, stop the crap, Jared. This is not a Squadron 42 update. This is a regular inside Star Citizen, where we are being seen a feature that we will see in the Star Citizen verse. Yeah, sure, we will see that feature in the coil as well, but this is not telling us any progress or whatsoever of Squadron 42. This is not the type of progress that we want for Squadron 42. So please stop saying, "Oh, this is some of the updates about what we're doing for Squadron 42." No. It's not. That is PR crap. That is PR crap. I'm sorry. I'm not buying this, Jared.
The actor feature team is busy adding further iteration on features like force reaction.
Okay, so no date as well. So they're showing us that's great. It's the 3.11 season of ISC. We get a super cool segment about clouds, and we don't even have a date. When is this coming up? You know, and this has been a trend in this throughout this entire 3.11 season in ISC is we are not being given dates about when these things are coming, and this is not that's not the way it should be, unfortunately. He said it was adapted from Squadron 42 development and using starships. Yes, Mark, I get it, but when is this coming? You need to give us some dates, Jared, or at least some targets before the end of the year. 3.11, 3.12, early next year, at least something, right? Don't just leave us in the dark like that. That's not right. That's not right. Anyway, guys, please tell me what you guys think in the comments down below. Are you sick and tired of listening to good old Eride ranting? That's also something I'd like to know as well. Have a great day, everyone. This is the Eradicator. I'll see you guys later.